Hey everybody, Professor Cloud here with another how-to video for the game No Man's Sky. I've spent 80 hours in this most recent save file for No Man's Sky, and I've had a blast. Cannot wait for the next major update. I learned an awful lot from this particular playthrough thanks to members of my community over on twitch.tv/TheProfessorCloud. One of the things that I had to learn was how to use your freighter, and specifically the frigates that are attached to your freighter. And you might be going, what do you mean frigates? Well, every freighter comes with one frigate. You can find out exactly how many frigates that you have by coming down to your central console and looking at the Manage Fleet option. Under that, we've got Manage Fleet and Manage Squadron. So we'll bring up Manage Fleet, and you can see these are all of the frigates that I have. Now, you only get one with your first freighter. And it's usually a C-class of some kind. You actually have to go out and purchase additional frigates to add to your overall fleet. I'll be honest, I am not sure what the maximum number of frigates is, but if you look here, I currently have 3, 6, 8, and with 2 more here at the bottom to fill in, so that says 10, but there could be pagination and I could be allowed more. I don't really know. Your frigates can upgrade over time based on the number of expeditions that they run. Well, what do you do with a freighter expedition or a frigate expedition? The game never really tells you, I'll be honest. There is a very simple documentation page here under the guide. You can actually go under making money and specifically freighter fleets, and this will talk about using expeditions to actually use your frigates on. However, there's no information of how to actually set up an expedition, what makes the most sense, which expeditions do what, and so on and so forth. What types of frigates should you send on the different expeditions? And I had to learn. Most of it I learned on the fly. So I thought I would put together a quick how-to video of what you need in order to do your expeditions, and what some of the things are that you're going to see in the expedition screen. So the first thing to understand, coming back up, sorry, I get turned around in my own freighter all the time. The first thing to understand is in order to run any expedition, you need to have, at a minimum, one room that looks like this. This is called the Fleet Command Room. The Fleet Command Room is where you will actually talk to the frigates that are on the expedition. If they're critically damaged, or if they're damaged at all, you can tell them, to go on or come back. You can abort an expedition. It's also where you're going to debrief the expedition when it's returned, so that you can collect the revenue, the resources, and so on. But you can only do the number of expeditions for the number of command rooms that you have. So if you see here, I have one here, I have one here, which means that I can run 2 expeditions. At the moment, though, I have one waiting for me to be debriefed. So we're going to take a look at exactly what that looks like. And then I have one available to me. As soon as I debrief this one, I'll walk through the process of setting up a new one. So we go here to our Fleet Command Room. We've got a debrief. I'll be honest, I do not remember what this particular expedition was. But we go through the process of being able to talk to the captain of the fleet. We debrief the commander. And then we get step-by-step information about each stopping point along the way. So the first one was a profit of $267,000. Next one was a profit of $359,000. Profit of $325,000. Found some Getnips. $330,000. $331,000. And that's the entire profit from this particular expedition. It was a trade expedition, which means money is primarily what you're going to receive. And that's all that there is to debriefing your expeditions. I made a little over 1 million credits, units, and got 6 that I'll be able to sell. Now, after that's done, I want to send them back out again. Well, how do I go about doing that? That's what this gentleman right here is for. Now, depending upon where you got your freighter, he might be a Korvax, he might be a Gek, he might be a Viking. We open him up. And he offers us expeditions, a total of 5 at any one time. And you have to choose from this 5 in order to get a refreshed set. All you do is you pick one. Now let's take a look at what's here. Now unfortunately there are only 2 different kinds here at the moment for us to choose from. There is a trade expedition, which means money is going to be the primary motivator behind what you receive. And then balanced. Balanced is kind of a split across all 4 different types. I really like the balanced ones because you can get any number of things, including potentially freighter frigate modules to help upgrade your freighter. The other 2 kind that we're not seeing here at the moment are industrial, which is a mining expedition. You're going to get nothing but resources back from that, and usually resources that you will not typically find on planets. So high-level resources and things that normally you can sell for large amounts of revenue. And then the last one, sorry, there are a total of 5. There is also a combat expedition. That one, any number of different things could be retrieved from a combat expedition based off of who they got into combat with. And then lastly is an exploration expedition. That one is also very much up in the air. Any number of things can come back from that, but what you will typically find from an exploration expedition are some of those rare sellables, like old tablets, old archaic historical items, things along those lines. That's what you'll typically get from. You'll usually get at least 1, if not more, depending upon how long the expedition is. Now, you saw how much we were getting from the trade expeditions, between 250 and 400k each stopping point along the way. And the length, the number of light years that you're seeing over here on the right-hand side, will tell you how many stops you're potentially going to get, because the stops are about every 300 to 400 light years or so. So the longer ones, there's also more risk, but also more reward, obviously. And then we have a difficulty rating right over the top of the number of light years. That difficulty rating has nothing to do with the number of light years. It is just how difficult it is, and that's where it will let you know what class of frigate you should be sending on that particular expedition. So let's go ahead and choose the balanced expedition. The next screen is where you're going to assign your ships. Now, for a balanced expedition, I want to have ships that can cover all 4 of the major types: combat, exploration, industrial or mining, and trade. So we go to assign the ship. I am going to choose this one because it's got exploration. I'm going to choose, the more you send out your C-class ships, the more that you will have an opportunity to get them upgraded. So I'm going to send the trade ship, I'm going to send the combat ship, and then I'm going to send the industrial ship here. That covers all 4 of my options. We then return back. We've now got all 4 ships in my list, and you can see here that my fleet rating is 4 stars, the difficulty rating is 2. That means I should not have any problems. Now, a couple other quick things down here at the bottom. The first is this little flashing bar here. I need 600 tons of fuel to be able to send these guys out. And the amount of fuel required is completely directed to how many light years it is. So this was 3,600 light years. That's a lot of fuel, and each ship is going to have its own specific requirements. Then we also have equip upgrade modules. Now, both upgrade modules and the frigate fuel are available as upgrades, researchable upgrades within your freighter. And I'll show it to you in a little bit, but you can create frigate fuel via tritium and dihydrogen. And then there are ways to create your upgrade modules as well if you should have any. I happen to have one right here. This one they only last for 1 expedition typically, and this particular one overclocks the existing fleet systems, allowing for faster than light calculations. Heat is a problem, and the chips do not last long. Basically what it means is that it will allow for your fleet to make the trip in a faster period of time than what is currently showing, which is 19 hours, 36 minutes, and 59 seconds. By the way, that's up in the top right-hand corner of the screen. So, that's all that there is to expeditions. I don't have enough fuel at the moment. Let me go ahead and make enough. I'll open up my freighter here. I have 150 available to me, but I need to make some more. So let's go down, make 200. That's 350. And that is 550. And there's actually 600. So let's go back in, and before though we do that, let me show you the available upgrades. And the upgrades happen automatically, by the way. So these two C classes, if we open one of them up, progress to next rank, 103 successful encounters. That's not 103 expeditions. That is, every one of those line items that we saw during the debrief counts as an encounter. So the more encounters you get, the closer you're going to get to upgrading automatically this ship from a C class to a B class. And C classes start with one improvement, which are these blue circles right here. This one has a reinforced hull. This one is a trade specialist. Along the way of C class, there's actually a two-step C class upgrade. You will get a second one. Once you upgrade from C class to B class, you will get a third. B class to A class, you will get a fourth. A class to S class, you will get a fifth. Now, they are not always improvements. If you see here on my B class, I actually have something that's in red. That means that this particular one has a problem. It has a -4 on industry. Now, this ship happens to be an exploration ship, so it's not a big deal. But if I were to send it on a mining mission, that would absolutely come into play and affect the amount of resources I would get back. So it can be, you're going to have to play with it a little bit to see what works for you. In addition, you're going to have to go out and buy your frigates. So let me show you what that means really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and kick off this expedition here. The balanced one. So let's go ahead and exploration, trade, combat, industrial. And go ahead and kick this off. And just like that, 20 hours from now, I'll be able to come back here and get the debrief from that particular frigate fleet. Now, to get a new frigate, if I wanted to go and try and find one, all you have to do is, in whatever your system you're in, go out into space. Get away from your fleet. And then pan around until you find another fleet. One good thing is to look at the space station. There's usually one around the space station beyond just yours. Right now there is not. And I'm not seeing another one at the moment, which is going to make it hard for me to walk through this. If you do wait long enough, I've seen as many as 3 or 4 fleets pop into your system. But yeah, I'm not seeing any right now. Okay, so here's actually a fleet right here. This is not my fleet. You cannot see the icon up at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly on over. And as I get closer, the frigates in the fleet, so there's the freighter of the fleet, are going to show up with little icons if they're available for sale. And unfortunately, this one is not. Alright, let's try this one. Interesting. Neither one of these frigates are for sale. What would happen is you would get a little green icon over top, and as you flew near them, your communicator would go off. That's not the case here, so I do not have the ability to buy them. Okay, so here we've got a freighter that actually does have a frigate for sale. So we've got a freighter here, and this particular frigate, and you can tell this by the green icon, is recruitable. So we'll go up here. Now, I'm not actually going to purchase it, but I want to show you the process. Incoming frequency. Bring up our communicator. And then all you have to do is inspect the frigate. And then look at everything that's right there on the right-hand side. It's a C-class ship. It's a support specialist. And then you can look at its current values. 3 in combat, no exploration, a 1 in industrial, and a 4 in trade. This is a very crappy ship. I have to be honest with you. It's a very, very crappy ship. I would never recommend anyone purchasing this. But if you did want to, it is very close to an upgrade. So it's going to come in with only the one single improvement, the support specialist, which is a minus 15 in expedition fuel cost. That goes across all ships in the expedition. But you could buy it for 2 million units. There is no other way to get frigates in your fleet. You have to go out and buy them. So this is absolutely a mid-game, late-game type activity, but it is absolutely going to produce large revenues over the long run, especially the longer the expeditions are that you send them on. So it's very simple to set up your expeditions once you understand how. Hopefully all of this information has been of value to you. And as always, if you have enjoyed the content, please make sure to hit the like button. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video.